Yo, what's going on, guys? CultOfMush back at it with another video with my port review of Mad Max. Now, I definitely wanted to do this video because Mad Max was being published by Warner Brothers, and if you guys remember, Batman Arkham Knight released a few months ago, and that game was also published by Warner Brothers. So it was going to be interesting to see how Mad Max would have done on PC and how the performance was. Also, keep in mind that Mad Max was developed by Avalanche, who have always been good to PC gamers. They do the Just Cause series. If you want a quick answer, yes, Avalanche has done a fantastic job with the PC port of Mad Max. It is terrific. So just starting things off with how many graphics settings you have to tweak from. You have so many variety of different settings. This isn't a game that only gives you 3 or 4 settings to work with. There is so much you can edit and change the settings of. There are a couple presets though of normal, high, and very high if you guys don't want to tweak everything. If you just have a really good rig, you can just put it on very high. And if you have a very lower end rig, you can just put it on normal. But for those of you that do want a lot of settings and a lot of things to adjust, they are present in Mad Max. There's a ton of them. And as far as actual performance goes, that was stellar as well. I started my testing off with the GTX 970. At 1080p, that GPU was doing well over 100 frames. I think I dipped into the 90s one time and that was it. Completely playable, so I decided to bump that game up to 1440p running on the GTX 970. Still was getting above 60 frames per second. I think the lowest that I went to at 1440p was around 65 frames, and typically it was around 75 to 80 frames. So if you guys do have a 1440p monitor, you'll be able to play Mad Max with a 970 at that resolution, no problem, maxed out. And this was everything cranked up on the very high preset. A VSync was off, so I could get an accurate display of the frame rate. Then I wanted to try out a lower end GPU. I tried out the MSI GeForce GTX 950. Now this is one of the newer NVIDIA cards, and this is a mid-level card retailing for around $160 to $170. I only played Mad Max at 1080p on the 950 since 1440p isn't something you should bother with the GPU of that price. And the 950 did great in 1080p. The lowest that it did to was around 45 to 50 frames per second, and most of the times it was at a steady 60 frames per second. So even with the GTX 950, game ran like a breeze on the highest setting. And finally, I also wanted to check out AMD Performance, so I decided to use an AMD R9 380 from XFX. This was the 4GB model, and what you guys are seeing on screen is it's saying that you're only getting 60 frames per second, but for some reason when I used the AMD card and I was recording at the same time, I lost a lot of frames. When I wasn't recording, the game was getting like 90 frames a second, so honestly with the 380, you can probably play the game at 1440p and still do pretty well. But at 1080p and very high settings, the game was pushing 90 frames per second, and at times it would even go above 100. So yeah guys, that's all I have to cover here. Mad Max was an excellent port, really good job from Avalanche. I think more of that credit goes to Avalanche, not Warner Brothers, but good on Avalanche continuing their streak of really good PC ports. This is another one, and Just Cause 2 was also a great PC port. Hopefully Avalanche can keep things rolling with the release of Just Cause 3 in December, but if you guys are interested in Mad Max, definitely check it out. The port is great, and the game is pretty good too. So as always guys, thanks for watching this video. If you have a request for a future video, leave it in the comment section down below. Let me know your thoughts on Mad Max. If you're picking the game up, if you're surprised it's such a good port, let me know in the comment section down below. And as always guys, have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.